Hi, my name is Yancy. Welcome to my channel, Chasing Yancy. Today, I am joined by Rashawn. He is a content creator who makes content for women, teaching women everything they need to know about men. So stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hey, Rashawn, thank you so much for joining me today.
How you doing, Yancy? Thank you for having me.
I am super excited. I always think it's really cool to be able to see someone on TikTok, be able to slide in their DM, and then boom, I get to talk with them one-on-one. So I'm a little bit fanning out right now because I'm a big fan of your content. So
okay, I'm definitely a fan of your content as well.
Oh, thank
definitely.
You. Well, very.
Of course.
So, okay, I see your stuff. And I feel like you just dropped so much knowledge. I'm even reposted some of your stuff or used it for, inspiration and things like that. But it blows me away that some people take issue with what you have to say sometimes. So we're going to be unpacking that, but I want to go backwards a little bit. What in the world made you want to do content in the relationship space specifically for women?
So in all honesty, from about 15 to 22, 15 to 22, and then I had one relationship when I was 23. So within those time period, mainly 15 to 22, I was a dog. So I was a player, not proud of it, not something to really brag about, but I was. And then when it came to TikTok, I posted one video about what I did for like my first girlfriend ever, donating blood and things like that to buy flowers and stuff. At the time I was like homeless and things like that. So I really wanted to do something nice for her. And that's what I did. When that video went viral, like 1 million something views in like an hour, I was kind of like, this is not serious. And then I made another video about like submission. And then that also went viral. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe my target audience needs to be women because I've been in therapy and this is no longer who I am. And this is who men still are. And I think the best thing to do was to cater to women and help them understand how men are from a man's perspective. And that's what I started to do.
I love how you said that you're not proud of your past and how you treated women. And I feel like if karma is such a thing, you're probably reversing a little bit of it by giving back. Because this is something that I really, really try to press upon women, is that when men act like, there are so many names we could call it, okay? Something boys and a-holes,
yeah.
like that, right? When they do that, a lot of times, and don't disconnect when I say this, they don't know better. What I mean by know better is not that in that moment they don't think that they're doing something wrong, but they don't know on a spiritual level what they're doing. And not to go super biblical, but I was thinking about when Jesus was on the cross and he said, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. Sometimes we don't understand the depth of our decisions. We might look at it as I'm just doing this. This is a thrill, or make excuses. Well, she knows what's going on or whatever.
Absolutely.
Right? But you don't know long-term until you really get older or get more conscious what you're putting into the world. They say that the dating pool is pee in it. If I could say this, you kind of peed back then. So now I see you coming in and you're giving of your time to kind of put that chlorine back in that pool and try to clean it up. And I think that if women understood that when a man is not in a good place, he acts in a way that is destructive, not only to himself, but to other people. And then they could take it less personally. And then also the women could listen to content like yours and other people who I've, collabed with, and just get wisdom. If you get wisdom, you could then move in a way that protects you. So I didn't mean to go on a whole tangent.
Absolutely.
I just love your vulnerability. And I didn't ask questions before we did this recording. So I didn't know. So I'm learning for the first time on here with everybody else. But that's amazing that you're willing to do it, because it does take a lot of effort to put content out there and to keep it fresh and keep going.
Oh, definitely. So this I gotta
I
gotta dig in the vault sometimes. Like sometimes, when I'm going to go make a video, it's not always just me picking a song and being like, okay, well, I'm just gonna write a caption. Like most of the captions are right. Like a couple of them I actually cried when making them. A couple of them actually like hurt me, and I had to really think back to a situation when I was like mentally and emotionally abusive and things like that. So it definitely put a strain on me sometimes, which is why I kind of like slow down my content sometimes. But I gotta stay consistent with helping women and helping them understand what's going on.
Yeah. When I see your content, it really resonates with me because I do believe that you speak the truth. I believe there is a truth, and I see various people speaking it. And so in the natural, it always blows my mind when I see someone take offense. Like you will literally say, this is a burning building, don't walk in it. And the women will take offense to it and say, well, why can't you just put the fire out? Like,
yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
Every single fire in every single building. But what I can do is teach you to not walk in and know the signals that if you smell,
right.
if you see this, you hear this crackling sound. So give me your take. Like, what is it like as the person who gets all those little notifications on your TikTok, on your Instagram, and you see somebody, arguing with you, or like, what do you think about that?
So an example of a video, I got a lot of pushback when I had said that sometimes during intercourse, a man won't think about you. He'll think about another woman or other woman. And that's my most viewed video, like 3 million views. And that one has like half of that is pushback in the comments.
What's the objection?
It's because a lot of them make jokes like, oh, I think about other men too, but I know like they're really hurt.
Oh, dismissing.
And then,
okay.
Yeah, and then 75% of women in the comment section normally be like, yo, you're insane, like you're crazy, like that's disgusting, and like, are you sure?
Like it's not true. Either saying
like, they don't think it's true.
Okay.
Right? So they don't think it's true. They think I'm just making things up. And it's like, I would never come on a public platform and lie to you about the things that men, right? So, and one of the reasons why I'm not gonna lie about it is because I used to do it. So, sadly enough, it's like, there has been times where I was not thinking about the woman I was with. And I could have been thinking about, it was one time her best friend, like, you know what I mean? So, when I made the video, it was me thinking that woman would have resonated and understood that,
right.
Men don't always, but if he loves you and he cares about you and y'all in a very faithful relationship, then of course this is not a problem for you. But in other cases where, that might just be a fling, that might be a sneak, you don't know if he like you like that, like that's where this situation ties into it. So with that, it's like I actually had to turn my comment section off because then it became like threats, and I'm just like I don't think they was tagging other creators like, oh, look what he's saying, like and I'm like, listen, like the men that y'all dealing with, I used to be him, or at least I had traits of him or characteristics. So for me to come on there and tell y'all that, I'm not lying to y'all. A lot of videos, women, they be in denial. I made a video, like yesterday or 2 days ago, about if y'all in a relationship, of course, privacy matters, of course. But a lot of women nowadays, like, I want to see my boyfriend's phone. Like, I want to go through a lot of women want to go through their boyfriend's phone. So my thing is, I made a video saying like, it really should not be no problem. Because if a man can't just hand you his phone and not worry about you going through it, then that's a problem. And I got backlash for that, saying, oh, I'm not going to look through the phone because he's faithful. I'm not going to look through the phone because I'm not about to hurt myself. And then, and then when it comes to all of this backlash at the end of the day, I'm just like, I know at some point you're either going to try to find my page or regret like not listening to me, even if it's just a little bit, to even take heed and put yourself in an emotional position to protect yourself.
Yeah. It's wild how visceral the reactions are. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh no, I disagree. But to be like, to say threats and all this, like, that's the part that's so wild to me. And I'm not going to go deep into it. I get more deep in Instagram when it comes to spirit realm and all this stuff. definitely stuff that is going on that compels people to get so heated, because I spoke about truth. And a lot of times when you speak truth, it sets one group of people free. And the other group, it pisses them the hell off.
Absolutely.
And I say that intentionally that way. And so that's what boggles my mind, because I'm looking at it logically. And this journey started 6 years ago. So 6 years ago, well, 7 now, I split from my now ex-husband, and I wanted to learn about men. And my dad and my brother, they poured into me. Like, I had no excuse to not know stuff, but it had been so long since I'd really been coached by my dad. And also, you kind of take people for granted when it's your parent, right? You're like,
right.
Yeah. And then there's the age gap where you're like, maybe not. And it's just something about learning it for yourself. Well, maybe I'm just the rebellious person that has to learn it myself. But I went on a quest to understand men. And that's how I accidentally built my following. I never set out to become an influencer like you probably did.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna make a video. So what happened?
Right.
I said, I want to know everything there is to know about men. I want to know how they work, how they tick, because I'm like, that's freaking getting the owner's manual. Like, why? Like, if you got a brand new game and somebody said, I'm going to teach you every cheat code, every, oh, you think jumping is cool? Well, I can do a power jump if you push the backspace. Why would you not want that? Like, logically, I don't understand why anyone wouldn't want that. So I started asking questions. And for whatever reason, maybe for reasons like you, men started honestly answering. And then the men wanted to know what other men were honestly answering. And they were kind of like, that's facts, bro. And they started building this like camaraderie, right? And then the chicks started getting hip to it. And they were like, yo, let me see that paper, that cheat sheet. Right? And then boom, next thing you know, I was chasing Yancy, but then a whole bunch of other people started to as well, because this was just a journey of like self-discovery, whatever. But that's how I see like, if a man is willing to crack the code, like right. do what they call it, man, don't break is it player code or bro code?
Yeah, the player code,
yeah, the player code, bro code. This man is putting his neck out there, willing to. And one last thing I was going to say, there is this video that I came across, blew my mind, but a guy literally spoke to content creators like you and me, and he literally said, keep your wisdom to yourself, because it's making it harder for me to FUCK. He was serious. He said, all these
wow.
You're waking up their divinity, you're opening up their minds, and they're starting to realize who they are and the power they possess, and like what they deserve.
That's insane.
Now I have to come harder. He was dead serious. And I use this as a teaching opportunity to tell people, if you think this is like a joke, and I played another one that was much darker. I said, this is more than men just trying to get laid. There is something deeper happening. And you look at these women, I'm so sorry to be long-winded, but you look at these women who are possessed. They cannot break free. They say, Yancy, I want to break free of him. I can't. I know he's cheating on me. He's physically abusing me, emotionally abusing me, having babies by other women, and I cannot let him go. I can't explain it. If that doesn't freak you out,
when you just said that man has said, keep your wisdom to yourself. The only backlash I've truly gotten from men, this is very, very scary. To me, it blew my mind. I made a video about how men take women pictures, videos of their body, those sex tapes or whatever, and they exchange them on Reddit for money. They exchange them on Telegram for other pictures, videos, money. They'll screenshot your addresses if they have them, your Instagrams, your phone numbers, and they'll exchange all of that. It's like a market. I know, because I'm a man, and when I was in that player phase, I knew about Reddit, but it wasn't until like a couple of weeks ago when I was like, let me screenshot one of the text logs, like what it looks like. So I screenshotted it, and I put it on my backup page because I didn't want to get banned, but I screenshotted it. And then I saw a link that said Telegram. I clicked on it, and I'm like, wow, this is over 1,000 files of different women. Not movie stars, like regular women. And it's like link after link after link. And that's the only hate I got from men. I had men, oh, you're gay, this and that. Like, why you telling our secrets and why you letting women know what we doing? That's it. That's it. That's the only hate I got from men. It's hard for me to make some money now. You got the woman calling my phone, cursing me out. So you're only mad at me for telling women to stop letting you record them, stop sending pictures to them, stop sending video, and all of that, because that's your source. That's one of your sources of income.
My face is physically on fire right now. Like I'm having a physical reaction to what you're saying, and it's making me emotional.
So many, like I went on there and I was like, oh, I found from Reddit. Reddit took me to Telegram one day. Screenshotted that. Huh?
I don't even know what Telegram is. I'm showing my age.
Reddit it's some ad, like you have groups, okay. Right? So Reddit of a Philly group on Reddit took me to Telegram. Right? No, I don't Telegram. Know huh?
I'm saying I don't know what Telegram is.
Telegram is like a social network, as I.
Oh, okay.
Right? So Telegram, they have different groups and stuff, but you need like an invitation or something like that. However that works. Okay. But the Reddit link took me to Telegram, right? So that was a Philly group that took me to like a Texas group, woman. So I'm like screenshot. I'm gonna post this. Telegram took me to Mega, and Mega had addresses of women, like pictures, videos, all kind of stuff. And people might be thinking, oh well, you was looking at it, you was into. No, I was actually disgusted because it's like
investigating.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And now with cryptocurrency, I'm even more scared that men will use women's pictures and videos, make them into like an NFT and sell them. Make them into like a crypto image or whatever, and make more money off you. And it's not really about the money, it's about the disrespect. And like, it's just insane. It's insane.
I've never been speechless on an interview, but I'm just like, I want to like speak carefully. When you get the truth, ladies and men, don't harden your heart to it and allow yourself to be distracted by being mad at the creator, meaning content creator, not creator with a capital C. Well, that too. But these people are sharing the truth that can set you free. And it's like I said, it's mind-blowing that not only does someone just say, oh, that's not true, but it actually pushes them over into a space of being angry. And to me, it's, like I said, I'm not going to go deep here on YouTube. I'm not going to go that deep. But there's two sides. We'll just put it out there. There are two sides out there. You're either going to be triggered by the truth, or the truth is going to set you free. And for me, it sets me free. It shows me how to protect myself, how to protect my children, how to move when it comes to men. And so many women, and with you too, so many women are grateful, and it gives them, advice on how to move forward. I just had a moment because the mama in me wants to just make everybody understand that there are vicious creatures out there, and you need to protect yourself. And it's just like, I can't even protect you if you're so busy getting angry at a person like Rashawn. Like, you're not, your head is so lost, dear sister. And I say,
but I feel like it's extremely alarming to me when it comes to me trying to help women understand how dangerous men truly are, because it's not, I feel like men are becoming,
I gotta say how dangerous they can be, because not all
can be how dangerous men can be. And I think it's, honestly, I'm starting to believe that they are more dangerous, like, aside from physically. I feel like physically is decreasing with the danger that they can be, and mentally and emotionally is increasing. Like, even when I make a post like, oh, well, if you go over a guy's house for the first time, make sure you're on FaceTime with a friend. And then somebody was in the comments, why would I need to be on FaceTime with a friend? I'm like, you don't know who's upstairs. you just meeting this guy, you don't know who's in the back. And it's like, I am only trying to tell you from me being around other men, or me being a specific kind of guy, or me knowing what men get into, how to avoid certain things. So it's like, yeah, that's what's alarming to me.
All I can say is, y'all, the ones who are looking for the truth, keep seeking it. Just keep seeking it, because you will find it. Keep seeking it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Ooh, this is deep. I didn't know it was gonna be this deep. I'm glad, but this is deep. Ooh, I feel like I don't even want to ask my next question. I feel like that was a whole word right there. But let's get into the biggest misconception. What would you say? And maybe you most say the biggest misconception is that men are just these innocent, creatures that shouldn't be feared. And when I say fear, I don't mean it like all men, because I don't want men to be triggered watching this. Like, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not saying all men, just like all women aren't gold diggers, all men are not predators. But everyone is capable of evil. Everyone, anyone is capable if we are out of control. And so that's why it was important for me to, and I apologize for over talking you, but to say can, because our words are powerful. There are many beautiful men who will do nothing but love you and adore you and help bring up children with you. But there are other men who have the capability of being predators and are predators. And it behooves you to treat everyone like a predator until he's proven that he hasn't. And that doesn't mean have an attitude, be mean, or they say like, you're making me pay for what the past guy. It's not about being mean. It's about just being wise and holding on to what is good and safe until you know it's in good hands. So Rashawn seems like a good guy. Within 5 seconds of meeting him, I'm not going to leave my credit card on the table. It's going to take time to develop a relationship to where I say, okay, no, he hasn't done anything to alarm me, but I haven't had enough time yet to see if he's trustworthy. It's one thing to do a YouTube interview. It's another to say, I know him and I could leave sensitive information with him. And I'm just using it as an example, but that's how you should be dating. I hope this man is a king. I hope that he honors me. But in the case that he's not, what does it say? What's that perfect saying where it says, I'll have to come back to it. I have been losing my memory of words, and I need to err on the side of caution. That's what I was trying to say. Err on the side of caution, which just means there's safety and there's danger. And if you make an error, you want it to fall on the side of safety because you don't know when it's going to come. So that's what that saying means. Err on the side of caution, for those who haven't heard that saying before. So what would you say is the biggest misconception women have about men?
It's a lot. I think the biggest misconception is women believing that if he's attractive, he's a good man. I mean,
oh, I'm so glad you said that.
That's probably because I see it all the time, especially on TikTok, where, they'll see a guy on TikTok, and they'll be like, oh my God, like he's super attractive. Like, are you single? Da 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 da. And it's like, you might think because he's super attractive. You might think because, you see him on TikTok, he takes care of himself and all that. That does not mean that he's a king, because you haven't, like you said, you have to take time to get to know him. It's one thing to say, oh, you're attractive, like, can I have your number? We can go on dates, get to know each other. That's one thing. But when you jump to just be like, oh my God, like I want you to be my boyfriend, like just because he's attractive, I think that's like overstepping so much within dating.
Like people do.
I feel like women miss so many red flags because he's attractive. And then they'll get caught up. They'll get stuck like, oh, well, maybe not him. Like, I think it's a red flag. No, it's a red flag. But you just don't want to say it's a red flag, and you don't want to leave him alone and find somebody else or seek somebody else because he's super attractive. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes women make.
I love that you said that. And it's not a coincidence that before we started recording, I was talking about attractiveness, remember? And I remember my aunt saying when I was younger that beauty is a gift. And we look at the word attractiveness in and of itself. The root word is attract. When you are attractive, you attract people to you. And those of you who are watching, when you are attractive, you need to understand that is a power that can be used for good or for evil. And like what Sean was saying is that with the men, not all these men are using that power for good. Some of these men are capitalizing on the fact that they are highly attractive to the human eye. And like he said, it's lowering the guards of women, and they are able to be predators without even having to twist the woman's arm. She will willingly walk into the lion's mouth. And this is something that I try to help women with, as far as not specifically the attractiveness, but in the emotional control. That's why I'm an emotional control coach, teaching women how to get a hold of their emotions, because these women will, in their logical mind, like you said, I see a red flag. Their logical mind, their neocortex says this is not good, but their amygdala produces emotions, and then the emotions take over. Just like when you say, I want to lose weight, and then you have the emotion of, I want to eat the cake, and you don't. There's this disconnect. And so that's where I come in, where people want to make those two things align. Your will and your desire and the actions all are on the same page. That's when you're actually living your life freely. What's the biggest takeaway that you would want women to take from your content? If they never got to see another video, what would you hope that resonated with them during the time of them watching?
The biggest takeaway I want women to understand is to always put themselves first. Like, no matter what, in any situation, like there's so many situations that a woman came to me for advice, and I'm like, this man has complete control over the situation, all because you don't want to put yourself first. And in a lot of situations that I hear women talk about, it's always he, and it's never like I, unless it's something that has to do with, I want him to pay attention. I want him to be aware. I want him to do better, but it's never, I think I should walk away.
Yes.
Or I think I deserve better. Because I don't know, it's women get into these situations where time traps them. It's like quicksand. Once they give it a man, and for some women, it could be a month. And they're like, no, we have so much time in. Like, I've been with him 7 months, 8 months. They just don't want to leave the person whatsoever. No matter how bad he's treating her, they don't want to. Starting over is like a disease to people.
Yes.
And it's like, you don't want to start over, because you know you're going to have to heal first. Then you're going to have to, then you can start seeking somebody else. People, starting over is the disease, right? Healing is the cure, but they don't want to heal.
Yeah.
They don't, a lot of people don't even want to even try to enter a self-healing journey, because they just want to go from relationship to relationship, thinking that that's a repair, when it's really just a Band-Aid. So when you go from 7 months in, 7 months of you being abused as a woman, mentally, emotionally, possibly even physically, you didn't want to leave for 5 of those 7 months. You didn't want to leave. The 6th month, you started to actually want to leave. The 7th month, you barely made it out alive. You had to get restraining orders on this man, probably go to the police station, all kinds of stuff. So now it's your 8th month, and you're like, I have to focus on myself. I have to enter this healing journey. I have to do better. When honestly, you should have been left. And that's the biggest takeaway I need for women to understand, is that if you're not happy, you have to put yourself first. If you don't think it's working, if you see red flags, you need to leave immediately. And then men will guilt trip them.
Yeah.
Right? So they'll try to leave. Oh, I'm about to kill myself. Da, 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 da. I'm about to commit suicide. Da, da, da. And I understand that a lot of men possibly do have mental health issues and things like that. But I am sorry, as a woman, you have to continue to leave. You cannot stay there and let him guilt trip you or let him gaslight you into staying.
Yeah.
So.
And they'll say either I'm gonna hurt myself or I'm gonna do better. You know, I'm gonna get therapy too, or and they make you think that you have hope. I love that you said that. And for me, I think a lot of women get a bad rap because men don't understand. I think that men have a different struggle. Men tend to struggle controlling their physical body, right? They physically struggle. Men struggle more with not getting into fights when they're younger.
Yeah.
Sex, it's usually a physical thing. And the women, we struggle mentally. And this is where I say the gender war comes in. It's because we don't see each other as brothers and sisters. We see each other as enemies. And if you understand that we are all equally jacked up, we just have different struggles, it keeps me from judging you. I don't judge you for wanting to sleep with a million women, and you don't judge me for having my mind. What do men always say? My ex is crazy, right? So when we understand that it's a symptom, men not being able to control their body physically is a symptom of a bigger problem. And women not having control over their emotions is a symptom. Then you can then, as you said, do the self-healing. Find a coach like me. But for me, it's really important that people understand the spirit side. People talk about soul ties and things like that. That stuff is real. And in case it's not real, I can
definitely.
you, right?
Definitely.
So you can't deal with a spirit problem with a human or a flesh or a physical solution. Just like you said, you would not put a Band-Aid, a topical thing on a cancer. That's not going to do anything. So you trying to attack it from the surface, you got to go spirit. I can tell you some stuff offline that would blow your mind of dark stuff that's happening below the surface. But there's a reason why these women are walking around like mummies and they're under spells and they can't break away. This stuff is serious. So ladies, those of you watching and you're like, dang, Yancy, that sounds like me, or what he's saying resonates with you. That is your clue to get help. That is your spirit crying out saying, find the truth. That's why I said, keep seeking the truth, because that's the only way you're going to get set free. Don't keep the next relationship is going to set you free. It's not.
When you mentioned on the spiritual level, so it's two things I can share before we end this. Two things. The first thing is, before I ever went to therapy, I could still see the shadows of all the women I hurt in my apartment.
Wow.
Like I lie to you not, from going to sleep and me rolling over and thinking, I don't know, Alexis was still in bed with me and she wasn't, to me getting up and then going to the bathroom and I'm thinking Tatiana was doing her makeup and she wasn't. To me, nobody was ever there. Me getting in the shower, thinking I'm in the shower with, I don't know, Gloria. I'm in the shower alone, right? And I'm thinking like, am I crazy? Because what is this? You know, I get out, walk into my kitchen. I'm thinking Raven's cooking. Nobody is in my kitchen. It's just me in the apartment. And then it got to a point where I'm like, I need to move. I can't live here no more. So I was like trying to hurry up, you know, move. I was packing up every other day. I was wanting to go back to the shelter system because it was insane. I was struggling with it so bad.
Their souls were still stuck with you.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Songs that were playing, people think when songs play on the radio, it makes you think of a traumatic event or something like that. It was songs that I would, like, Jeepers Creepers, like it was songs that would just stick with me and I could just feel the pain over and over. And I'm like, this is, oh my God, like what's going on? And then as I went through therapy, it started to be me alone, me being okay, me not having to worry about nothing. Everything was clear. I felt free and things like that. But before, it was like very extremely traumatizing. So when people think about the aftermath of men cheating, please don't ever think men do not endure no karma. Because the karma men endure, if not from a woman, it will be darkness. And I have experienced karma from women, right? So to be completely transparent, the amount of karma that I've gotten, it went from STDs. It went from STDs to my life being on the line, you know, from other men and all that. And then it went from that, and then it went to like being in a psychiatric hospital because I was drove almost insane. Like, this is real life. Like, this is.
Me too. I was driven. I checked myself in. This is why I'm blown away by your.
Like, yeah, this is insane. Like, I was in a shelter. I was, what was I, like 19, 18 at the time, in the shelter. And I told staff, like, hey, I'm about to commit suicide, all because I tried to defend a woman from a man putting his hands on her, and I wasn't able to defend her. And then it's just like, yo, like, you know, but then, you know, me and her, it just was a crazy situation.
Yeah.
From me cheating on a woman, right? You know, you sleep with a woman, you think it's all cool, and then she give you an STD, and you approach her like, hey, you know, you gave me an STD. She's like, oh, I know. Like, you, I've been in those situations. And then I'm like, well, why you didn't tell me? It's like, no, I gave it to you. And I'm just like, so did you go get checked? No, I'm clean. So within those days of me figuring it out, a week, 2 weeks, you already went and got cleared up, right? So that's one aspect of karma. That's the physical karma. But then you also have the mental karma, where your mind don't work the same no more because you done cheated so many times. You can't even process how to do a date properly. You don't even understand how to function. That's the mental aspect. And then the emotional aspect, you finally, like for me, after therapy, I've been single since. And people are like, yo, is this your karma?
I'm so sorry. You said after therapy, what?
I've been single since.
Oh, single since.
Right. So it's like, this is what happens, right? If you decide to be a player, right, the door is open. You'll be with as many women as you want. You'll play as many women as you want, right? But once you decide to change for the better, be a king and go through therapy, you have to now face darkness. Do you think you're going to come out of therapy and just get a successful loving relationship? No, this is the emotional aspect of it. And God forbid if you fight all 3 or 2 of those at the same time. When I first came out, I was fighting the mental part of it. I couldn't even conduct a conversation on dating apps. I'm trying to figure out, like, the littlest thing. Like, what does she mean by this? And it's like, oh, the whole time she was asking me on a date. And the whole time I blew it because I'm just so mentally not there no more. And emotionally, you're struggling with so much after healing. You actually, like, damage yourself again from consistently stressing about getting a good woman. Like, now you're like, oh, I want a good woman. I'm gonna try. I'm healed. I've been in therapy. Now you're unhealed because you're depressed now. You're slipping back into darkness and you're going through all these different emotional phases because you want a good woman, because you're forcing yourself to be like, yo, I know I can prove I'm a good man now. I know I can prove it. I just need one chance. You're not going to get it. You have to wait. Now you're playing the patient game because you're on God's time. Look at how many angels you didn't destroy. He sent you angel after angel and you broke them. Knowing that only an angel can get you into heaven, you broke it. So now, sorry to say, but to be completely honest, if you decide to be a changed man, you're going to have to sit with the devil until God say, okay, I'm going to come get you. You're going to have to sit with him for a certain amount of time until God feel like it's done. I think he's had enough. And you haven't had enough until God says you had enough. That's what's going to happen when you decide to change, which is why if you decide to be a player, you think it's all cool. It's not.
I feel emotional right now because there are men who are going to watch this.
Don't cry. I didn't mean to make you cry.
No, it's not a bad cry. I'm so grateful for your vulnerability because you could have let pride and ego keep you from telling your whole story. You could act like you have it all figured out right now and you could front for the gram and do all these things, but you're being so vulnerable. And I was telling you before we recorded that when you are naked emotionally, it's love. And you just showed so much love to strangers who are going to be watching this, who are acting the way that they're acting because they don't know better. on a spiritual level, they don't know better. And there's going to be a king who watches this, who says, I've always felt like this isn't the right thing to do, but I pushed that out of my mind because the world tells me that this is cool and this is okay. But something inside is triggered and saying it's not okay. And there are so many angels who have been broken. I like how you call them angels. Angels who have been broken. There's this one beautiful woman, the beautiful queen. I seen her on saw her on Instagram, and she said, I used to be a good girl, but now I'm a savage. She has a hit song about that. And it crushed my soul when I heard those lyrics, because what she was saying is, I don't feel powerful being innocent. I need to become like the predator that was a predator over me. And I'm crying because my heart is it's so grieved for the people who are lost, who think that this is the way to go. They really have bought the lie that this is the way to happiness. And there's a Bible verse that says, there is a way that seemeth right to a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And even if it's not your physical death, because we're all going to face physical death, you will feel like you've died 1,000 times before, and you will actually wish for physical death. Because if you've ever experienced depression like you and I have, like Rashad and I have, you will wish to be dead. The only thing worse than being physically dead is to feel like you're buried alive. And that's the only way I could describe depression. I said, I felt like I was in a box and someone nailed that wooden box shut, and then they poured cement over it, put it underground, and then put it beneath the ocean, and then put sharks above it. When I say I felt hopeless, that is a torture worse than death. And I just hope that whoever watches this video is set free. And I said I wasn't going to go deep, but it's not about me. If you want to have peace, if you want to walk in the light, you have to seek the light. And that light is Jesus Christ. I'm not ashamed to say his name, and I'm going to say it on this platform. And there is a peace that passes all understanding. When you get to that breaking point, and I don't even know your faith, Rashawn, but you spoke about the devil will have his way with you until God decides that you've had enough. God will wait until you're finally broken, because when you're broken, that's when you realize you need help. You don't ask for help when you don't realize you're broken. But when you finally tapped out and you're like, I can't do this anymore, and you reach up, he comes in and saves the day. And there is a peace that he gives. I am a firsthand testament of that peace. I don't have to take antidepressants. I don't have to take anti-anxiety medication. Everything that was taken from me was restored and multiplied. And so I'm actually going to kind of leave with that. Just know that there is something amazing on their side. And everything that the enemy tries to teach you and say, this will get you your peace, he tells people it'll come through sex, it'll come through porn, it'll come through riches, it'll come through fame, it'll come through narcotics. If I could just get high enough, if I could just get rich enough, if I could just get famous enough, if I could just clap enough cheeks. Women, if I could just be loved enough, that's our drug of choice. The enemy whispers those sweet lies and directs us to these mirages that are completely hollow. And we're like hamsters on a wheel chasing after it. He knows good and well we're never going to get that carrot. And even if we did get the carrot was a mirage. And I'm here to tell you that all that stuff that you're seeking after, you can get that when you go to the source of love, the source of joy, the source of peace, hope, all that stuff. Okay, I'm going to ask you my last question.
Okay.
Are you good on time? Are you okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. What is your dream? If there were no restrictions, you weren't limited by money, time, anything, you had the keys to the kingdom. What would you do as a creator? Or maybe you're not even limited to being a creator. What would you do? What would you produce with your life if you had nothing holding you back?
If I had absolutely nothing holding me back, So it's kind of like I guess it's like a 3-part dream, I guess.
Okay.
Or one in one. I would probably use real estate as the funding source for a nonprofit organization. So I would have a real estate company that funds 2 different organizations. One is a nonprofit to help women who's been victims of, sexual abuse, rape, human trafficking, things like that. And the other organization focuses specifically on human trafficking victims. So we would have even our own kind of like military group. You said I can do anything. So we would have like our own kind of military group who would specifically go to known or pinned places in the world and specifically capture human trafficking victims and set them free. And then the other one would be to help young women who was victims of any kind of abuse, any kind of emotional damage, anything. Help them get scholarships, help them learn new languages, modeling, acting, pretty much anything. Of course, that's going to take a lot of funding. And the second one, the government probably might not want to do that.
We don't speak limits.
All right, well, there we go. So
this is your dream.
That's definitely what I would do. I think the human trafficking is it's very scary. The market, it's an actual market, which is terrifying. And I don't even hear it speak upon enough. And I think that needs to be attacked, targeted, and put to an end, to be completely honest. And then helping young women is just like, why not? You know what I mean? Like, women go through so much. And even when I was in the shelter I was in was amazing. But at the end of the day, what young women was asking for, they couldn't give it to them all. Right? So, I feel like if you 17, 18, you go into this, this facility, you'll learn a new language, you'll have your own room, you probably share like an apartment with a woman, and we'll teach you how to pay rent, we'll teach you taxes, everything that will truly get you ready for the real world. And all of that. But hopefully, the nonprofit will be called True Saint. So I've already thought it out. I've already gave it, its own name and everything. So, yeah.
I love that. And I feel that vision is divine. I intentionally say it that way. And I want to encourage you, in the words of Israel Houghton, I don't know if you say his name, Houghton Houghton, but take the limits off. Even for what it's worth, the real estate, take the limits off. There will be funds from some source that is going to make this vision come true, because that, I believe, is your purpose, why you're here on earth. And the passion that you have to make this happen will come from your story. No pain will be wasted. It will all be used for his glory. And so I am excited for you. And it's wild because I've never publicly spoken about my vision. I'll tell it to you after we, end this recording, but it's very interesting how it's very in alignment. I'm so grateful that you came on. I thought I was going to get 10, and you gave me 10,000. So, and 10 was a big thing in my head. Okay. So I'm blown away. I appreciate you. I told you that there is a light about you that is beautiful. And I want to know where others can find you should they want to get more of you.
They can find me on all platforms at Poetic Exposure.
Perfect. So find him, you guys. Follow his stuff, encourage him, because it can be a lot being a content creator, and your words give us life. There's power of life and death in the tongue. So even if you can't contribute to, let's say, someone's Patreon, or you can't cash out them, just your words sometimes can keep us going. So drop him a DM, drop him a comment, and just say, keep going. I see you, man. And I want to encourage everyone who is watching today to keep seeking that truth. Whew, y'all, I don't even feel like I can close hardly. You guys, I go live every Sunday on my YouTube channel at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is 7 Central and 8 Eastern. I answer questions that are submitted to me via DM on my Instagram account. For now, I'm answering all your dating and relationship questions. So make sure you tune in. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. And be sure to smash that notification bell so you can be notified every time I drop new content and I go live. All right, there's way more in the works, you guys. So stick around. Make sure you're on my mailing list. You can get that through the link in the description below or on my Instagram page. There's a link in my bio. But the reason why I tell you to stay tuned is because I am dropping a course that is going to radically, God willing, set a lot of people free. I've been doing one-on-one coaching with my clients, and I can only touch so many people. And so I want to put what I've been teaching into a neat little package so people can watch it as many times as they want. So pray for me, y'all. It's a whole thing, but get on the list so you can be notified when it does come out. Any final words from you, sir, before I let you go?
I just want everybody to follow Yancy, follow her YouTube, follow her Instagram, all her social networks. And I also have a clothing line coming soon. So if you follow me on all platforms, I will be announcing that when it releases. And I thank all of y'all for your support.
Thank you, guys. Until next time, tell someone that you love them. Okay. All right. Hi, my name is Yancy. Dang!
Yo,
Dang!
yo.